Sir, I कर दिया live.
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Policy Times special show, Unleashing India Web Summit Series. Policy Times is India's perhaps unique media which is working to promote developmental journalism and policy advocacy. Because when we talk about development, policy is the pillar of development for any nation. So policy making and policy implementation are two important aspects that we need massive amount of discussion. Under this Web Summit series, we are talking that as the COVID has become a demarcation to divide history into two eras, the pre-COVID era and post-COVID era, we have renamed national growth to national reincarnation to show the world that let us plan things in a complete different way in the post-COVID time so that we leave a lot of things back and we reinitiate a lot of things that is important in this national reincarnation. Now, to talk about national development, I think it is incomplete without discussing one of the most important part of policy making as well as national reincarnation, that is international relation or foreign policy of a nation. To talk on that, I think foreign policy is a very close to my heart, and I always love to discuss this topic. India is one of the not exactly superpowers, but one of the most important countries of the world. No country in this world is there, I think, which does not have relations with India. And on the other hand, Indians are in every country, I think, that is there in the world. So in this context, and India is the only country which has a positive, as Dr. Shekhar says, that India itself is a multi-trillion dollar brand that we need to capitalize. I think now international relations plays a crucial role, and a very futuristic and important foreign policy dynamism also plays a very important role, that how and what role India will play post-COVID next 10 to 15 years. To talk on this, chairman of this show, Dr. P. Shekhar, will chair the session. He's chairman of the Global Smart City panel, and he is author of also quite a number of books. And very fortunately, I saw that our ex-IPS officer, Ahmed Javed Saab, has also written a foreword for one of his books. And wonderful, actually. And now he's also an architect of this concept of called the secured governance. To introduce IPS Ahmed Javed, our ambassador Ahmed Javed is his former IPS officer and was part of the Mumbai police. He was the Mumbai police commissioner. Dr. Shekhar will introduce him with more details because he knows him personally. He was also ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and I heard a lot when I was speaking to some of my colleagues at ICWA, and there were so many good words that they said about the Ambassador Ahmed Javed, and serving as an ambassador to one of the most important countries of the world, Saudi Arabia. I mean, there are a lot that we can learn and hear from him. So without taking any more ado, I want to request Dr. P. Shekhar to kindly take over the session.
Thank you, Akram. Today I have a privilege of welcoming my friend Ambassador Ahmed Javed. He has been known to me now for more than a decade or more than that. And one thing special about him is he has been a police commissioner, and as well as he has taken the complex job of being an ambassador and to one of the most complex countries in a complex region. As police commissioner, I have seen him in Navi Mumbai as well as Bombay and various other postings. One thing very special about him is nobody will go out of his room dissatisfied. Let him be what complex, he doesn't mind, and it will be solved in 2 minutes' time. Whomsoever has to be phoned, he will phone. He will ensure that they go out, that they don't have to come back to him. Another word which he used to say, don't come back to thank me. I can quote, I hope. Your famous statements are there, which people even linger in their ears, that nobody should come back if they have come to me as a police commissioner. That is what is his statement, and which I hope many will follow. I think government of India heard about this. That's why they gave him a job as an ambassador. And again, as I said, to a very complex country and very complex relationship and a very, very important country. And lo and behold, when he was there, Prime Minister went, Foreign Minister went, and you name it, people are gone. And the relation with the country has taken a very big positive turn because it's a very important country after all. It has got, not only the religious thing of Mecca, Medina, and all, but also it is an oil-rich country, and it plays a very big economic role. Now, let me come for next few minutes about the economic and international relationship before I give the mic to Javed Saab. International relationship for India is very important because we are not one of those big countries which are playing, bull in the world. We are a country, we are a soft country, and we have got 30 million people throughout the world. We say if a cricket match or a film is released any part of the world, it will be a super hit. No other country, including Hollywood, can ever claim that. So foreign policy has to be good because we worry about the safety of our own Indians in various places of the world, and they have to be taken care, and they do very good for the whichever country they work in. And international relations has got one more meaning because our own 30 million people almost carry $1 trillion economy and growing. So many people are made to go, are induced to go, or when they go, they do a good job. Today, most of the CEOs of topmost countries in the world are all Indians. So I would request Ambassador Javed Sir to talk a little about himself, whatever little he wants to, which is something which we would be, everybody would be happy to hear his thing in the police department and more on the international relationship where he has made a mark for himself. Like, everybody says that, oh, if it is an ambassador, it should be like Javed. That is something which I heard from many people. So I would like Javed ji to uh, give his part of the talk.
Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Let me first begin with thanking you for saying all those kind words. Given the time shortage and the fact that we had a technical hitch in getting on, I think I'm not going to talk much at all about myself because that's not the focus today. I would like to actually touch upon some of the aspects of the strategic planning which goes into the international relations, and especially for a country like ours. Obviously, I can't touch on everything, but I'm going to touch on some of the points which are relevant, and also from a region and area specific wise. Unfortunately, as we all know, and I think it's being said ad nauseum that this pandemic has come at a time, uh, and so suddenly, and the impact it has had and is still having. We really don't know when it's going to be out of this entire epidemic. The impact individually, country-wise, globally, it has had and is having is something which I need not dilate on. But at the same time, it has also thrown up some new challenges. It's also thrown up a whole lot of new opportunities, whether it is domestic or it is international. Now opportunities, of course, coming through challenge are always something which need to be fast forwarded because there's not much time for to maneuver around. But having said that, and I'm sure a lot of things are being done domestically, and we all know about it, which has changed the way we look at life itself. Forget about the way we live and work, but as life itself, whether it's education, whether it's civic bodies, whether it's police, for example, they are doing or they've done after being, after the first responders. If you see the first responders, of course, the health and medical fraternity, but after that, the next brunt has been taken by the police, and they've come up to, really risen to the occasion. Although this was probably never a part and parcel of their training and doing duties, but anyway. Uh, I would like to just cover a few points, leave it as a thought, and leave it as something which can be taken forward by whoever gets to be interacting on these matters subsequently. First of all, is that any international relations, and of course, I'm talking in the context of our own nation, any international relations, the heart of it all, and I'm saying the obvious thing, but it needs to be reiterated. The heart of it is our national interests. At the end of the day, Many other things may have played a role, but the bottom line is it beneficial to us as a nation, whether economically, politically, you know, geopolitically, whatever it is. So that is, and why I'm saying is the obvious is because some people, the layman, doesn't sometimes wonder why such an action was taken or why such a decision was taken, because they don't really know what is the implications of it on a long term or on a larger area. Uh, for example, as Dr. Shekar mentioned, it was I was honored and privileged to be an ambassador of India in a complex country, in a complex region. That is probably, if you ask me today, I mean, off the cuff, one of the most complicated, complex regions in the world today. Whether it is talking about strife, whether it's talking about the politics there, as we talk, some of the changes that have taken place in the last 3 to 4 years, and some changes which have taken basically about a month ago were unthinkable, I would say, even 5 years ago. For example, you have the UAE and Israel actually opening diplomatic relations. You have a situation where Saudi Arabia has allowed overhead flights over its land area to any country, which of course includes Israel. As a matter of fact, you may or may not have caught it. Air India was the first. Air India was the first international airline which is allowed to fly over Saudi Arabia and go to Israel. Now, these are big things if you take it in the larger context. It is not just a flight taking over a flight path, but it is something which had they actually don't have it in the didn't have it in the system. So the India and its role has become so wide and so impacty that today the role we play sometimes we forget is much larger than what sometimes we think it is. And many of my colleagues, especially in other services, and even till I became went as ambassador, don't realize that we are really a country, a power to contend with economically, politically. The number of diaspora that we have abroad is one thing. The remittances that come in into country, we're the largest remittance getting country in the world, and a huge amount of it comes from only the Gulf. So when you're talking about international relations, it's not just one or two or three. It's not a binary sort of a thing. So many things go into it. So when if you're talking about a relationship with a country specifically or a region, we look at not only our political standing on it, because we have our own policy on it, on various matters, whether it is the Middle East or whether it is Europe or wherever. We also have to look at it. What are the other factors like the diaspora, the kind of economic relationship we have? What is the kind of new things we can go into? After all, some of them are traditional. Now, traditional doesn't mean that you cannot explore new areas. Again, to give an example, some of the new areas we explored in Saudi Arabia vis-a-vis India, the engagements we went into, were never done before. The other thing that we, for example, haven't, I think, really used as much as we should and we can is the soft power that we have, whether it is the Bollywood, whether it is yoga, whether it's the arts, the performing arts, you name it. The amount of attraction our Indian movies or Indian arts or Indian handicrafts and many other things have abroad, we really sometimes have not used it to the effect that it should and could be. And it is being done now. For example, we got the International Day of Yoga declared by the United Nations, and it is, I think, a global phenomenon today. And I'm really happy and privileged that for the first time in yoga, we were able to do it in the public. Now in Saudi, it was not allowed. Yoga was not allowed. But in 2018, for the first time, we got it to be done in a public place and at none other than the National Museum of Saudi Arabia. So what I'm trying to say is different things on it. So one is our national interest will have to play a this thing. We should also have this, what is known as strategic autonomy. It's not necessary that you have to be just looking at one block or one set of things. Whatever benefits us. So this strategic autonomy is other thing. And we have played it very smoothly. The role of the leadership, I must say, has also been factored in. The kind of a personal relationship the leadership has with the other leaders is amazing. And I mean, the ones I have seen, why I'm mentioning this is this also impacts the kind of reach that we can have. We have also shown that when we are making a policy, we have our interests domestic also. Now, let's say our target is a $5 trillion economy. Of course, the pandemic has come in the way, but ultimately the target is there. We have to work on that. How that will be dovetailed into our international relations. For example, with this new developments around, how many of the things can come to India under the make in India basket? How many things we can send out which will enhance our international relations? For example, skilling. I know a lot of areas in the Middle East, especially in the Gulf, where one of the biggest shortages is skilled people. Now, on the one hand, those countries are also going in for localization as expected, because with the prices of oil having come down from what it was, their economy, facing new challenges, which are more for non-oil economy rather than oil economy. And the way the fate of oil is going to be, it's all looks, so they have, as expected, gone in for a lot more localization, meaning they would want to employ more of their own people than expats. But skilling and skills are something which they desperately need. And we can play a major role, because in India, we have all sorts of skilling, apart from the governmental, facilities available, even in the private sector, which can go and skill it. Basically, it is a thing of increasing our engagements under different fronts. From the traditional, for example, again, the Gulf, traditionally it was oil, and if you ask me, a bit of diaspora. But today it's not that. You can think in terms of space, you can think in terms of defense, you can look at a huge amount of medical and health, because these are countries, at least Saudi, is expanding their health sector in a way that is really huge. Geopolitically, they are located in the middle of the earth, in the middle of the world, if you ask me, in the Middle East. And we are located on the other middle part of it, because we have the eastern now, you have the entire eastern part of the world, which we are actively engaged in. So what do you think is going to make the difference? One is that all our engagements abroad have to be keeping this in mind, which is our national economic interests, national defense interests, national, I will say, person-to-person human interests, because it's very important that we cater to our own population as much as is expected. Now, this will bring in trade, for example. What are the things in trade which we can enhance, which we need to modify? For example, some of the challenges we found because of the changes in climate and changes in many other things, that it had to be sort of tailor-made for a region or a country. For example, even something like mangoes. I mean, we export a whole lot of mangoes, and they are really, but you have to have the health part of it also. What are the chemicals used, while they were cultivated? Rice. I mean, I'm sure all of you know the amount of rice that we export, especially to the Gulf, is immense. But again, the process. So the farmer has to be brought in. Our farmer has to be educated onto what not to use, which it has traditionally been used as a fertilizer, for example. Now, international relations have to be dynamic. You cannot have a static situation, and I think we are doing that. It has to be dynamic, and it has to cater to the changing times, the changing situations. Our focus also would be, I know we are running short of time. Our
Sure.
focus also would be that one is our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is very important to us domestically also and internationally also. And therefore, the entire international relationship has to be vis-a-vis our neighborhood, the larger area, what we call the region, which include the Middle East and the Gulf, and of course, where our vital national interests are involved. Now, if you see, it is no longer limited to just few areas. In the last some years, India is not what it used to be when we were in school and college. One of the officials in Saudi told me very seriously. He says, sometimes you guys forget how big you are, and you should really use your bigness as a weight to, and that is what I think we are doing. The focus of the government is also, if you see, many of the things that we have done on international relations has had a huge impact globally. Whether you take environment, whether you take the entire solar power, the solar energy sector. We are one of the pioneers in that. The solar energy, or what's known officially as the Solar Alliance, is one of our major steps that was taken a few years ago. So I think it is so much intertwined. The entire domestic and our policies are so intertwined with the the things that are happening abroad, and which will play a role. We have to keep that in mind, that it is dynamic, is ready to sort of balance it out, and most importantly, that our interests are never compromised, which is what I think the government is focusing on. And finally, of course, there are many other things. I just wanted to just add a bit on it, that that uh, you know when it comes to what international relations are, there's a few things like perception. A perception plays a major role also. So the perception and reality has to be also sort of somewhere balanced out. And at the end of the day, our policies should see us as a global power that we should be, that we aspire to be, and that where we should be. We may have been delayed for whatever reasons, but I don't think, and we have the potential, mind you. The most important thing, we have the potential. And that potential is what is going to catapult us into another league in the years to come. With that, I'll close for the moment. Of course, there are many other points I've tried to sort of put in some of the important aspects. Of course, some other time we'll talk about it more elaborately. Thank you very much,
Yes.
and
No,
stay
no.
well and stay
Before we allow you to go, is it possible that you give any of your practical experiences, because you have seen the prime minister come, foreign minister come, and as I again repeat, in a complex country, which can be said in a public domain? Any one or two small experiences which you like
No,
to share?
okay. One thing I found was that uh, coming from my background, see, I went from the IPS to the diplomatic this thing. So maybe that out of the box or whatever this thing. And as you said, I didn't really remember till you said the idea of telling a guy not to come back to me to so thank. The idea is that you find solutions. There's a solution for most things. Sometimes it may not be the best solution, but you have to find solutions. So the thing that I really thought, which made it possible for me to really go into this, was that I was really privileged as an ambassador to have the prime minister visit me in my first year itself, and that sort of opened a lot of what should I say, avenues for me to explore which had not been explored. And I'll give you just one small little example. For example, we would never uh, train uh, Saudi military personnel. Uh, Coming from the uniform service, I was sure that when you train together, so even in the IPS, we have many foreigners coming and training with us from other countries. The camaraderie and the relationship that is built up over, say, about a year's training lasts for life. So if you have a colleague somewhere, let's say, like I remember I had a colleague who was in Bhutan, and I remember as commissioner, we needed something very desperately from a criminal point of view. Now, one way is to go through the MEA and through the embassy. It will take it. So I would write. So I picked up the phone. He was the chief there. Chief. I rang him up and I said, whatever his name, first name. He was my neighbor actually in the academy. I said, Chief, I want you to help me out, but I have very little time. He said, by tonight, I'll have it. And by tonight, now what I'm trying to say is this is the kind of a relationship which cannot come in between two foreign agencies of officials if you are not trained together. So the Prime Minister was very cooperative, very supportive of the thing, and he agreed to that we should train Saudi cadets in our academy, in our military academies. Now, the purpose was when they go back, they will be like ambassadors for India, and more importantly, they will also have connections with their counterparts in India. So, say 10 years from now, if they are in important positions, you can just sort of have a. So, this is one. The other, of course, is that when Mrs. Sushma Swaraj came, God bless her soul, she left us so suddenly. uh, Saudi Arabia has a national festival every year, which is only for their own country. A huge festival. One, there's only one guest of honor, and that is one country they give that honor to. In I was again lucky, and thanks to the Prime Minister, I get we were made the guest of honor country in that 2018. And Mrs. Swaraj came to inaugurate it with the king. And that was one inauguration, one moment. And the speech she gave at that place was phenomenal. I'll tell you, it's something which is etched in my memory. And you can't believe the kind of things that we could do thereafter, the kind of, kind of impetus it gave to start with medical or auto industry, among others. So there are many, but I say these two will share. I can talk for hours on many of the experiences that I had.
No, that was an excellent example. Excellent example. Now, since you are also in a hurry to leave, thank you so much in terms of spending your time. Maybe we will call you once more for your policing, which is what it is.
Maybe we can do
And,
that. Yes,
and you really made us happy.
I'll do that.
Not
Thank you.
this and whatever is needed to be known. So thank you so much. And then
You're welcome. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm leaving now.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was Ambassador Ahmed Javed, one of the prominent and renowned voice in the foreign international relation category. So we will have another speaker joining us soon, and though he is not here yet, but yeah, I'll just dial him. In the meantime, Dr. Shekhar, you can keep sharing some views. Okay.
He'll join.
Yes. We have.
He's joining up.
The speaker. Very.
Yes.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. So, आप मोबाइल को ऐसे रख लीजिए ना.
ऐसे करने पे वो एक्चुअली व्यू ठीक नहीं आएगा. वहाँ पीछे से मंदिर है मेरा. So I don't want to show that temple.
No,
that's the only reason.
That's the only. We should continue the discussion. So, Dr. Shekhar, you can introduce Mr. Keshav and start the session.
Now, Atya Kashyap is just like Javed in terms of the international relation with respect to ambassador. This man is a brand ambassador for India. Okay, he does everything for from the finance point of view, which everybody requires. Lakshmi Atya Kashyap ke through India ko aati hai. So he himself has been is the senior level in a multinational bank. Okay. And he is playing a very, very key role now with many of the state governments in terms of their funding requirement, in terms of their this thing. So what I will do is, I will just go through a small presentation, okay, so that, we are in the same, yeah.
Okay, yes.
I'll take only a few minutes so that we are in the same wavelength. Enhanced role of international relations for national reincarnation. Why also I'm making this presentation is from the, one is Javed talked about the relationship from the point of view of actual relationship. Where does the finance portion come in picture? Why does people like Atya Kashyap are absolutely necessary for our reincarnation? So now India as a country is again a vast country, vast this thing. When we say international, we are ourselves with 206 countries put together, and there are 280 countries, another 70. So we need to have the complexity of a multiple country which is inside India to be tackled with the multiple countries outside India. And and we got everything that is needed for a successful country, which we are. But funds, relationship, they will play an extremely important role. Now, this all have to be seen post-COVID. COVID has destroyed the whole world economy, and it has brought everybody to the knees. And just by something which is absolutely invisible, absolutely insignificant, absolutely, irrelevant, but it has become more relevant than anything else in the world. So that no, today everybody, even the right hand is afraid of touching the left hand, seeing that COVID may spread. How, we don't know. And complex, instructions are given by respected organizations, which are all contradictory every few days. and which also needs its own corrections, which is not a part of today's. With all these things, the economy has come down. If economy has to grow, money has to come in, money has to flow. Now, internationally speaking, when we say migrant means a lot of people of the whole world are in various other world, but India is maximum. As you can see, Indians constitute almost about 30 million Indians are in various parts of the world. The best part of Indians are, even though they may be in whatever numbers, maximum remittance they do out of their saving and to themselves. Of course, when we say India, they don't give to government of India, to themselves, which comes flows back into the India's economy, which is almost over $80 billion, which is a very big sum. Even people like places like China, with all their so many people going abroad and so many things, only 68. Now, these are all forecast and summary of GDPs of India, of the globe, whatever we are exporting, importing. Many of these things have come down dramatically this year, as you know, things are all in a, but still we are having good reserves, and we as a country are throbbing to grow. We as a country have a plan of becoming $5 trillion economy, which may get slightly extended by a day, by a year or two, but yes, we will achieve, thanks to people like our expert speakers. They will confirm to us that these are all not impossible figures, but fully possible figures. Now, India has done a lot of foreign, relationship agreements with almost many other countries. Few are reflected in this particular slides, and goes from some of the smallest country to some of the biggest countries, including Japan and USA. Now, secure governance will play a very significant role. Secure governance is what we call as for a self-sustained economy. And on this, of course, Ajay Kashyap is also working very closely on this particular way of using it for national growth. This is the one which will give untapped potential of the world, of the nation to grow, and of course, funds has to come in picture. So we have, as you know, only 3-4 lakh of Indians going abroad, and we believe that through secured governance, almost 3 million people should grow, and which will create a huge ambience for fund flow. So I made this short this thing to give a prelude to Kashyap's talk. Kashyap has got he's an excellent talker. He is also having his own channel, FM channel. He has got his own. He calls it Adi. He's very famous for that, and he is a friend of all. And there is nobody in any premier circle who may not know him or whom he doesn't know. He has got relationship with industrialists, he has got relationship with cultural people, entertainment people, sports people, and you name it, and he is there. So with that brief, I would welcome Ajay. He can start just 2 minutes on himself, since I have told so much, and little on COVID, and finally on the way, the comfort level that funds are there, funds are deployed, and what are the strategies which should be adopted by the country, because funds are not going to come on a platter. For it, there will be some changes required in our approach, changes required in our in the way we present ourselves, in the way we take it. So this also I would like him to talk on. I take a ship.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you very much, Dr. P. Shekhar, for inviting me uh, on this platform. And definitely, with my experience and exposure, I would love to discuss about the opportunities and the way forward approach for India post-COVID, because now the things have changed totally. Whatever was there, it was a past. So let us think it like a past, and then we have to come with a new India, a new vision for India as well as globe. So, okay, I'll start with my introduction. That is very important before I start the discussion on the topic which had given to me, like on importance of international relation for national incarnation. So, basically, I am a pure investment banker. I am from Delhi, born in Delhi, but I work across the globe. I started my career in 1989 with a bank called Punjab National Bank as probationary management training. And later on, I was one of the instrument in setting up a foreign exchange department in UTI Bank. Now it is Axis Bank, but I was one of the founding member, you can say, for UTI Bank. I started their international division. And from there, my international journey starts. I went to US. I was part of Union Bank of California, San Francisco. Then I also worked with Wells Fargo Bank. And the last was JP Morgan Chase Bank. In JP Morgan, I was head for India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and North Africa. So you can say I was managing almost the portfolio of 35 countries. So this is my experience and exposure in banking industry. I am into banking since last more than 30 years, 3 decades. Since 89, I am working. And now we are managing our own boutique investment banking firm. Right now, we are advising to 12 state government in India, as well as we are advising to 6 countries outside India in terms of setting up the policies, helping them in forming the policies, as well as bringing the investment into India through various routes. So now I think I should start the topic for which you have called me and invited me. And once again, thank you very much. So let us see this Corona. I mean, since January, we all are struggling because business is not happening. People are really worried what to do, what not to do, and what is going to be the future. So there is an uncertainty. The government is trying, hard. They are trying to convince the people. They are trying to give some, suggestions also, advices also, advisory notices are getting issued. But then too, there is a discomfort in the people of the country that what is going to happen, because most of the people, they are losing their job. If you see in July itself, almost 55 lakh people, in India, I'm talking about India. So we can discuss about global also, but let us discuss about India. So 55 lakh people, they have lost their job in July itself. And especially in the area like hospitality, hotel. So some, areas wherein there is still a chance to lose almost 2 crore jobs, 20 million jobs. So now, but thanks to Government of India, they have come up with Atmanirbhar policy. They have come up with various, policies to revive the economy as well as businesses. So now let us discuss about, the opportunities and the way forward approach for India, especially not only for India, but, for the overseas countries also, international level. Because no country is complete in itself. You have to be dependent on other countries. You cannot be 100% complete. So that is why we have to see this topic in two areas, like countries like our neighboring countries and the countries, like Europe, America, Africa, Middle East. So let us discuss about our relationship with neighboring countries and the investment opportunities as well. So neighboring countries like you can start with Nepal, Southeast Asia countries or SAARC countries, Nepal, Bangladesh. We can talk about China also. We can talk about Vietnam, nearby countries. So Afghanistan. So there are lots of opportunities for India, like in Nepal. If you talk about Nepal, because in most of the countries, Bhutan also, in most of the countries, neighboring countries, India has extended the line of credit to these countries to support these countries, because these countries are not as better as India is. So like in Nepal, we have extended line of credit, and Bhutan as well. So in Nepal, whatever business is happening, 90% of the business is totally dependent on India in Nepal. Likewise, Bhutan, we are extending line of credit, but because of the line of credit, there is a condition by Government of India that if we are supporting by way of financing, then you have to accommodate our EPC contractor, our workers, our companies who would be interested to work in your countries. So basically, it is a bilateral trade agreement between these two countries, these neighboring countries. Now we talk about the overseas countries. Like, if you see, so I don't think there is any worry about India, because sometime, COVID, of course, there is a stress level in all the mind. People are worried what is going to happen. But I'll give you an example why India's future is great and why we are expecting that whatever our Honorable Prime Minister has said, that it will be a 5 trillion economy. I am sure it will be a 5 trillion economy by 2025. I have some reasons and, to justify whatever I'm saying. Like if you see during the COVID time, in telecommunication, we have a group called Geo, Reliance Geo. Entire world was silent. No investment was either coming or going. But then too, Geo was able to manage $20 billion into India. So this investment, it shows that the investors has trust in India, they have faith in India, and they have faith in Indian companies. So they are slowly investing into India, be it Facebook or Amazon or you name the company. I am not talking about the small players. I am talking about the big players across the globe. So $20 billion is not a small investment which has come into India. Apart from that, if you see, the Google has also invested into India around $3 billion. They have recently announced. Same with Apple. Sometime in crisis, you have the opportunities. So let us take it in a positive way. If there is a crisis of COVID-19, which is getting, done, slowly it will be over. But yes, if the people have invested, the countries have invested, the corporates have invested in China, which was supposed to be the manufacturing and exporting hub of the world. So now the shifting is happening towards India. The countries, they are saying what is next, if not China. So they are searching for the opportunities. And ultimately they found that I think India would be the best destination for investment, maybe because of our geography, because of our population manpower, because of our skill, because of our language capacity, like English speaking is very good in India, and we have all the facilities in India what China is offering. Slowly, government of India, they are also liberalizing their policies. So like in Apple, so I'll give you the example of Apple. So Apple has already given a go ahead to invest $3 billion in India. They have already make a setup in Chennai. So Apple 11, their announcement is that Apple 11, the new model, will be manufacturing in India. So this is again a very big achievement. Like so, investors are showing their trust, their faith, their comfort to invest into India. Number two, if you see our Prime Minister, recently, I think 2 weeks before, there was the video conference, the video conclave, organized by a US India Council, I suppose. And he had a very good session for 1 hour. And this is related to the US investment into India. So our Prime Minister did a roadshow through virtual calling. This is again a very good presentation given by an example given by the Prime Minister. And he is keen for the investment into India in, in aviation sector, in defense sector, in healthcare sector, in infrastructure sector, plus the policies also. Prime Minister is liberal. So our country is also making the changes in their policies. Like earlier in defense, only 26% investment was allowed through FDI route. Later on, they changed it to 49%. And now it is 74%. So which is again a very good sign of investment and comfort to the investors, whosoever is investing in India. Again, if you see the investment in automobile. So automobile, the 20 to 22% of GDP of our country comes from automobile industry. Most of the automobile manufacturer, they are from abroad. But fortunately, they are now setting up their setup in Chennai or in Gurugram or in Gujarat. So through the roadshow, again, the Prime Minister has given a comfort to the investor abroad that yes, look, India is the best destination for investment. Post-COVID, we will be more relaxed. We will give you more facilities. Your investment has no risk. Returns are better, because why investor want to invest in any country? They only see two reasons. Number one, whether I am carrying any risk investing in this country or not. So risk wise, there is no risk. Risk are then again the different kind of risk. It could be a political risk. It could be economical risk. It could be any kind of risk. Financial risk. So I think the government policy, they are protecting the risk of the investors, because now there is a stable government. This is a second tenure, and if everything goes well, the third tenure again will be for the present government because of their policies. So the investors are happy, their policies are there, they are in place, bureaucrats are working. There is a single window clearance scheme. Now that things have changed, government is coming up with specific, economic zones for setting up the industries, for setting up the businesses. So now the investors are happy to invest in India. Number one. Number two, the returns. If you see returns in Europe, America, so returns are hardly between half to 1%. If we deposit our money in fixed deposit, so we get only 50 basis point, 25 basis point, or maximum 1% return on investment for the FD. But if you invest in India, so you can get at least double the what you are getting. So I'll give you an example, like Japan. So Japan, you get only 25 basis point if you deposit the money in bank. Sometimes you have to pay a custodian fees also. Forget about the deposit. So sometimes you have to pay the custodian fees also if you have surplus money. But when they landed India through JICA, which is a Japan Investment Consulting Agency. So through JICA, they invested more than 20 billion US dollar in India for a project of Japan Rail, which is between Mumbai to Ahmedabad, high speed rail, or you can say bullet train. So in this high speed rail, they have extended the line of credit, the facilities to India just at 1.5%. So just imagine, instead of 25 basis point, they are getting 6 times more what they will get in their country. Number one. So return is 6 times. Number two, uh, the funds are secured because they are getting the charges on the assets. So till the government of India will repay the fund, the charges will be there. Number three, the project has been given 90% of the EPC contract has been given to the Japanese agency. So it is a two-way benefit. Like a Japanese company who are expert in the high-speed rail, they are getting the work in India, of course, with joint venture. So our Indian companies are also getting benefited. Ultimately, even if they get the contract, 90% of the work will be done by the Indian company joint venture partners. Let me clear you. Plus, they are generating the employments also. So it's not only the investment is coming, employment is getting generated. So right now we are working with government of Andhra Pradesh. Now I will tell you about the various governments. So there are governments who are looking for investment, and major investment, they look forward for infrastructure activities, because 75% work is only infrastructure. Other areas are lesser, be it a port, airport, highways, bridges, all are infrastructure. So in infrastructure, like if they approach to their bank, it's not like that the Indian banks, they don't have the money. They have the money. But end of the day, cost of company matters. What is my cost? Because single penny is very important for high value transactions, especially when you talk about billions, because all the government projects are in numbers. Minimum project size is 3 to 4,000 crore rupees. Even if you go for a metro, it will cost you at least $1.5 billion, which comes to more than 10,000 crore rupees. So like in metro also, other areas also. So what the state governments are doing, they are not taking the money from Indian banks. They are preferring to take the money through FDI routes, through loan, either ECB or through the FDI investment into India, so that the rate of interest would be lesser. Plus, they will get the better technology, the best technology, and they can get the long-term financing. Because Indian banks, they give the loan for 7 years, 10 years, or maximum 15 years. But when we talk about people's project, which are like, the transportation, like metro. So these are the long term, like airport, these are the long term projects. So repayment they require always for a longer tenure. So they get a period of 40 to 45 years, like in this metro, high speed rail. So the repayment period is 45 years. So from agencies outside India, they get low cost funding, they get extended tenure for the financing, and they get the best of best technologies also, of course, with our partners. Now we talk about the funding agencies. Which kind of funding agencies are active for Indian market? So like ADB, you can talk about ADB, Asia Development Bank. So Asia Development Bank basically and primarily you can say is set up to support the Asian countries for the development project, especially in the infrastructure activities. Then AIIB, Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, which has a setup in China, but fortunately the CEO is from India. So again, this a live example. This our Indians, they are acting as the main promoters also. They're acting as the CEOs and the main players to support the country's cause for infrastructure development. So AIIB also, they have invested in India a huge amount in Andhra Pradesh, in other states also. But yes, they always see the agencies. They always see what is the protection of our money, because this money is again it is a loan, it is not the equity. So let me give you the clear example that if you take the loan you have to repay. In equity you have to create the partner, you have to dilute your shares. So most of the project, it is in the shape of loan, but these are the soft loans, because these agencies, they give the soft loan at 1%, 1.5%, like ADB, like AIIB, like JICA, like Canada Pension Fund, like Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, ADIA, like Kuwait Fund, like Qatar Fund. So there are funds which are available in global market, and they always look forward for the opportunities to invest in good project in good country, wherein their funds are safe, secure, and returns are better. So I'll give you the name of the agencies also. Like I told you, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, JICA. Then there are pension funds also. There are international banks also who are interested to invest in India. They also prefer to invest. However, their cost of lending is higher because they borrow. They take the deposit from the public and then they lend. But if we directly go to these sovereign funds, which are comparatively cheaper, then again we can go for investment through the bond mechanism, which is again a very very good solution for the countries like India. So if we go through, because there is always a currency hedging risk, fluctuation, that if I borrow in foreign currency like dollar, so today I am borrowing, dollar cost is like 75 rupees, but after 45 years, if I take a long term view, so it could be 100 rupees, 125 rupees, then rate of the interest could be higher. So you have to hedge it. Then you have to calculate that if I take the loan at 1.5%, my hedging cost is around 3.5 or 4%. So it comes to 6 to 7%. So some of the agencies, like some of the municipalities, some of the states, some of the countries, especially in India, they prefer that they get fully hedged foreign currency loan. It could be converted into rupees. So there is a solution for that. That is masala bond. I'll give you the example for NHAI. They raised initial level 8,000 crore rupees. Initially 3,000, then they increased the money. So 3,000 crore rupees through masala bond from London Stock Exchange. And their cost of borrowing was in rupee, fully hedged, was 7.57%. However, 3 years back, banks were lending at 12%. So directly they are saving around 4% per annum, which is a huge saving. This is a huge saving. So that is why our Indian, states and the government of India, they prefer to borrow the loan in foreign currency. So these are the agencies. Then let us discuss about the remittances also. Like in your slide also you said. So there are 32 million Indians. They are working abroad, which is again, which is again a great and huge resource and source of foreign exchange earning. Whether money is going to their relatives in India or it is getting deposited in the bank in the shape of fixed deposit receipt, or whether they are investing in properties in agriculture or anywhere, but the money is coming into India, you know. So 32 million means 3 crore 20 lakh non-resident Indians, either in shape of NRI or PIO, person of Indian origin. So they are living abroad, and India is number one in terms of remittances. This also, I think you have said in your slide. So $83 billion. The last year, numbers were $83 billion. It's a very big amount. It's a very big amount. What we are getting, and China is fortunately or unfortunately they are number two, and their income through remittance is only $68 billion, and the number three if you say the other countries. So we are better off placed like Indians because we have skilled and unskilled people. The states like the Kerala, from every family there is an NRI. From Gujarat, from every family they are into businesses. So the difference between Kerala and Gujarat is Kerala people, they go for work, especially in Middle East. Gujarati people, they go for business in US, in UK, and in Africa as well. Then if you go to North India, in Punjab, again there is average one person outside India, but they don't go for business, they go for work. Some people, they are doing business also, they are doing extremely well also. They are settled in UK, they are settled in Canada, they are settled in America. So, and our vision, our Prime Minister vision is also that every year at least we should send 1 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? More than 1 million people from outside India. So the foreign exchange earning will play a very, very important role when it comes to making the payment for the borrowings. Because right now, if you see our reserve is more than $525 billion. It's a very big thing, half a trillion. So our reserve has increased like anything, and we are sitting on $525 billion reserve in foreign currency. These NRIs, PIO, and the people who will be going outside India, the workers, maybe in the shape of workers, or they could be skilled, unskilled professionals also. So whatever they are earning, most of the money they are remitting to India. So I think Indian economy will play a very important role, and we should give some more facilities to these non-resident Indians and person of Indian origins. We should produce more skilled and unskilled, people through Skill India programs, so that they can go abroad, they can work for the country, and they can send the remittances to our country, which will definitely reduce our foreign currency borrowings portfolio. I think this will be a great idea what India is seriously thinking, and this will contribute for our growth of our economy. Now, if we talk about the imports and exports portfolio, so last year I think so import was more. It happens in most of the time, and export was less from India. I'm talking about India, and the total portfolio was more than $1 trillion. So it is more than $1.1 trillion. Unfortunately, during these 4 months, so our portfolio, like import is around 141 and export is around 152, something like that. So it is around 300 million US dollars. So billion, sorry, not million, $300 billion. So I am sure, we are not going to touch the same what was there, but impact will not be much. So there will be 20 to 25, percent lesser volume what we are targeting if everything goes well. So we are targeting around 800 to 900 billion US dollars import and export flow between India and the other countries. And it's not only import and export, it covers the services also, because import export is about the merchandise. But if we talk about services like our IT professionals, technical know-how, technology transfer, so there are multiple activities. So the total inflow and outflow would be somewhere around 700 to 800, I can say 800 billion US dollars. So this is what we are targeting. Now, if we talk about GDP, so see, this is all the part of the impact on Indian economy post-COVID, and that's why I'm discussing. So I think the future of India is very, very good. GDP, what was there in 19 is around 6.6%. I'm talking about forecast. So if you see the global forecast, Indian GDP around 7.1%. I mean, numbers may change, but as of now, it is 7.1%. And if you see China, so their GDP will be 6.6%. So this is again a very good sign. It means GDP means some production is happening in country. Some transactions are taking place. Something is selling and something is buying. So there is a movement of goods, there is a movement of services, there is a movement, there is something is happening, people are getting work, jobs are happening. It means our economy is growing. If we say 7.1%, which will be the highest GDP of any of the country. So this is again a good sign. China is number two. If you talk about USA, it will be only 1.8%. So I think this is again a good. And if we talk about our economy, like what our Prime Minister said, 5 trillion economy by 2025, like you rightly said, it has to be deferred for 1 or 2 years, but it's okay. I mean, it's not only happening with India. So this is happening with the entire world. So we need not to worry. See, now we have to focus. Like, again, we are now mentally prepared under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Local is vocal, but again, you can't do everything 100%. That is for sure. Sometimes you will be taking the services, investments from outside India, and sometimes you will also be transferring the services, investments, or technology outside India. I think post-COVID, if we discuss, so there will be three industries which will be very good for India, like the healthcare. Healthcare will be on the boom. This is what I personally feel. The only reason because now the people are understanding the importance of healthcare. Earlier, this was ignored in India, but now the healthcare will boom. Good hospitals will be created. Good beds will be created. Better facilities will be created. More doctors will be, on the roll. Then there will be nursing facilities also. So I think healthcare will play a very important role. Then the technology, IT especially, because most of the activities are happening through, the digital technology. So technology will again play a very, very important role. This will be good for the youth, youngsters, and the startups, because startups are working hard for, the technology-driven facilities. So this will be a good news for us. Then apart from that, the food, you know, because the organic food farming is again progressing well. People are understanding the value of their health, what to eat, what not to eat. So these are a couple of the industries which will definitely going to take place good in India. Investment will be there, industries will grow, and I think the manufacturing setups will increase in India, because now totally it will be depend on the supply chain mechanism. And because of the COVID, now our country also understood that everything got stopped. If you are into manufacturing, basically you are dependent on outside countries to import something to manufacture. But if there is no movement of aircraft, there is no movement of ship, nothing is coming, nothing is going, then the local supply chain system would be very, very strong. So I think the employment opportunities uh, will be more. This is what I am feeling. Yes, but one should be ready for a shift. We should not think whatever was there before COVID, it will again remain same. No, I think 75 to 80% things are going to change. We should have the habit to work from home, because offices will be on the limited numbers. The offices will be open. Then in manufacturing, yes, manufacturing will come on a bigger size, and we should think about the people who are skilled and unskilled. So let us think in this area that the country is going to grow fast. I have a vision. that we are going to compete with other countries, that is for sure. But the foreign countries, the investors, they have trust in India now, and their focus is to invest in India. This is what I want to tell you. Now, if we talk about some, there is a historic. If I see the numbers, so there were some countries who already shown the interest, like Russia. If we talk about healthcare, so Russia has come up with the first vaccination. And like I am part of Vocard group, also Vocard Foundation. So recently we tied up with a British company who has come up as our partner in India for manufacturing for of the vaccination. Same way, Russians 3-4 companies, they have approached us that they want to have a joint venture partnership in India for vaccination. So Russia is very much keen. Russia is very much keen to have set up in India. I mean, you can see in the newspaper also daily. You see that Russian vaccination, they have come up with the vaccination, the solution also. So they are very much interested, and likewise the other countries also, they are interested to invest in India, and they look forward for a brighter future for India. Then in terms of the MOUs, I'll tell you, like recently the Denmark, energy company, they have signed an agreement with India, with Niti Aayog, for between the Business Sweden Healthcare Innovation Center. So this is again a very good achievement. Then again, if you talk about Human Service USA and Government of India, they have also signed with Health Department for transfer of technology and providing the services as well as investment. Then again, Portugal, India, they have also come up. They want to set up the world-class maritime, complex in Lothal, which is in Gujarat. So likewise, the countries are coming, they are coming forward to show their interest into India, to invest into India. And I'm sure the future of India is very good. Nothing to worry. I think we can definitely come over with this COVID-19 situation.
Thank you, Kashyapji. Really enlightening. With somebody like you at the helm, I think India is safe. I think Indians, whoever listens to this, will know that there is nothing to worry. We are there to grow. There are people like you and your previous speaker, Javed, who was more from a diplomatic side he was talking, and you totally complimented talk from the financial angle. I'm sure anybody in the world who listens to or meets people like you would definitely come and invest in India. And like you rightly said, it's not the question of investing in India. Because investing in India, it's again a diabolical weapon. It could be a loan, means interest has to be paid, repayment has to be done. If it is equity, means you have to give returns. Second, which is a more important option, is how Indians can go. When an Indian goes, in fact, we are exporting an Indian, and even exporting an Indian, and earning money, and where we are needed by those countries. We are not dumping somebody. Many places people get dumped, and Indians are welcome throughout the world. If the 3 million, 30 million Indians becomes 100 million Indians, you see the India's whole balance sheet will grow. The world will grow. World needs Indians. Like he also pointed out, whatever people may say in other countries that we want local employment, they don't have local skills. Well, skills come from Indians. Indians can be a very good, as much as we talk in English, we can talk in any language which people want, which is versatility of the Indian. So we feel that this international relations is a very important tool as much as other particular sectors. And very nicely enlightened talk has been given. So with that, we feel comfortable. We feel that things are good and things will grow. And with that, we will close today's program. And thank you so much for your time, for the way, for the emotional pitch we had was very enlightening. And thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.